As a naturopathic doctor, completely healthy, known for being healthy, how did I end up with cancer? When I'm teaching everybody that your genes can be switched off or on with lifestyle, any one of those negative emotions can take hold of you and you can live within that vibration and you can cover it up with everything else. Oh, you can eat well, you can exercise, you better deal with whatever it is that is hurting your soul. And once you do that, you can release it.
Quality of what you're eating too.
Yeah.
Japan is one of those places that has like a lot of really old people in their
Mhm.
population. But I've lived in Japan. The quality of the food is up there.
And for 2 weeks, I was in the hospital and they did not do anything but keep me stabilized because they couldn't figure me out. However, because of my lifestyle, my organs are the organs of a 20-year-old. I protected myself unexpectedly before I knew I would need it. And so that's why I would like to encourage everybody to take heed to those health nuts. You don't have to, because your mom and your dad and your grandpa and everybody else had it, quote, it. You don't have to, because those genes can be altered.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Transformation to Expansion. I'm your host, LaJoie, and today we have a very, very, very special guest. Her name is Dr. Nalani Valentine, ND, PhD. She is the founder of New York's Heal by Touch Oasis, the co-director of the Whole Wellness Self-Healing Education Center in Heathrow, Florida, and co-founder of the University of Comedic Sciences online.
Commission.
Commission. Okay, thank you. Commission Sciences Online. She has helped hundreds of people heal themselves, regain strength, energy, and vitality through understanding the connection between the way we think, the food we eat, and the quality of our health. In March 2022, she was diagnosed with acute myeloid, right? More like
Myeloid.
leukemia. Okay, myeloid. Thank you. Leukemia, and was not expected to survive. She is now thriving and living her most joyous, best life. Oh my God, I love to hear that. She tells the story of this most recent event in her latest book, New Life from Near Death: How to Prepare Your Life and Health for the Unexpected. Dr. Nalani Valentine is expanding her international team of excited, dedicated, and successful network marketing professionals, which is named Team Infinite Possibilities. Love it. And she is happy to welcome new members into the franchise. So please, please, please welcome Dr. Nalani Valentine to the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for thinking of me to even have me as a guest. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, when I was first introduced to your book, New Life, sorry, I want to get the name right. New Life from Near Death: How to Prepare Your Life and Health for the Unexpected. I really loved that title because I had never heard of anybody talking about, hey, let's prepare for the unexpected things that might happen in life concerning our health and our wellness. And so I really want to start with that. What kind of what would trigger the title of this book, actually? So how did you get to this title of this book?
My experience,
Okay.
really, that's what gave me the title because as a naturopathic doctor, completely healthy, known for being healthy, how did I end up with cancer? When I'm teaching everybody that your genes can be switched off or on with lifestyle, you don't have to, because your mom and your dad and your grandpa and everybody else had it, quote, it. You don't have to, because those genes can be altered, switched off or on with lifestyle.
I know today's guest has you filled with questions, but don't worry. You're going to have a chance to sit in this seat on August 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have our first live Q&A where you get to ask the questions to a previous guest. Make sure to click on the notification bell, subscribe to the YouTube channel so y'all can be the first to know, because it's going to be first come, first serve. Okay? I'll see y'all there. Peace.
And my lifestyle is such, and it has been for 30 years, 45 years actually, a very clean lifestyle. And so, how did she end up with cancer? In fact, someone in my family had said, oh, when they found out, they said, if she is sick, then nobody has a chance, then none of us have a chance. I mean, that's so that, and I say all of that just to say that was so unexpected. Right? And so the answer to why is it that you're teaching that your genes can be switched off or on, and yet you end up with cancer? Well, it had nothing to say about chromosomes, you see. And so there's a difference between your genes and your chromosomes. Right. However, because of my lifestyle, I'm alive. Because I was not only near death, I stopped breathing. I was just gone. And my husband revived me. That's the beginning of the book. He calls it a page turner, and it is because it's written in the now, in a diary form. And it was, when I look back on it, I can almost get emotional about all that I went through. However, when I was going through it, I was at total peace, even joyous. People used to, the doctors and nurses on the floor where I was for over a year would come into my room and say, can I come in here? Can I just spend a minute in your room? Because I had my essential oils going, I had music going, you know. So my whole energy, and I know I'm going on and on with this, with the answer, but all of this, not but, and though, all of this is what created that title. It's the real deal. This is not some imagination. This is not, ooh, let me see what book I can write. I had no intentions of writing this book because I was in the middle of writing my second book, which is Dietary Child Abuse. Are you unknowingly guilty? So, so that's what that situation is. That's where the title came from. And the fact is that we can be prepared. We're not helpless victims. There's always something we can do. Always. Because we don't know what's to be. We have no idea about the unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, so many questions. So let's pause real quick. So you said the difference between genes and chromosomes. Can you explain that for our audience real quick? I come from a biology background. I majored in biology in college, so I know what you mean, but I don't think the audience does. So can you just explain the difference real quick and how that played a part in your healing?
Okay, so your genetics, of course, they're created by by your parents, your ancestry, and a lot. See, what is known today more so than ever before. We didn't know this in times past. That's why we used to say you're at a very high risk before, because your parents had this and your grandparents had that. Little did we know that it was lifestyle that affected those genes. And then there were people who had a history, a family history, a genetic history of all of these issues. And yet this person didn't get it. That person, well, what's the difference? Why is it that that didn't happen? And that's because the person was able with their lifestyle. And I put it down into what I call my 5 foundations of health. Everybody knows about your mindset, nutrition, and I just simplified it even more to think well, drink well, eat well, move well, and sleep well, period. And when you put all 5 of those together and you're really obedient to that, well, maybe I won't use the word obedient. When you
Dedicated?
that has, however, what did you say? I didn't hear.
Oh, dedicated maybe?
Dedicate. Thank you. If
Dedicated.
you're dedicated and connected to yourself in those regards, then you wouldn't have so much of an issue. Now, chromosomes, they found that I had two chromosomal anomalies
Hmm.
that are prone toward cancer. And as a person gets older, they can be affected even more so, more and more. And so here I am 75 years old, and I have always, just like a teenager thinks I'm never going to get old,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still thinking I'm not going to get old. I tell you, that little girl just never goes away. The little boy inside, the little girl inside never goes away. So thinking, you know, my lifestyle is together. I've got it all together, vegan. I eat a lot of raw food, blah, blah, blah. Now, my grandmother, by the way, lived to be 100 in her 104th year. She was 103 and she was healthy all of her life. And she was a meat eater, and she wasn't vegan, vegetarian, she wasn't raw foodist. She had a healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We get all judgmental. We make a religion out of everything, it seems. And we tend to judge each other. And I like to see that put to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Because like all, the old saying, the old Native American saying about walking in someone else's shoes, you don't know. You don't know their history. You don't know anything but what you think you know. Live your own life.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, exactly, exactly. Live your own life. Focus on you. Don't focus on them.
Right,
It's not
right.
gonna help you. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, so you touched on, longevity, living a long time. That's one of the questions I asked myself as I traveled the past like 4 years around the world. How do we live longer? Because you're absolutely right. 73, um, you're supposed to feel young at 73. You're not like the whole, how do I want to put it? The word old should not be applied until you're like really like, 130, maybe more.
Hello, I
Something
said,
like
well,
that.
maybe when I'm 100, maybe 110, maybe then I'll stay while I'm old. I'm
Right.
75 now. I was 73 when I was diagnosed. And they told me, though, that when I was in the hospital, they told me that my organs were the organs of a 20-year-old.
I know that's right. I know
They
that's
said, you're an anomaly to me.
right. Hmm.
And for 2 weeks, I was in the hospital and they did not do anything but keep me stabilized because they couldn't figure me out.
Mm.
They sent my records and my blood to Tampa, another hospital. I was in Orlando, and they couldn't figure me out. And then finally, they sent it to NIH.
Mhm.
And they came back and said, yes, it is acute myeloid leukemia. However, because of my lifestyle, my organs are the organs of a 20-year-old.
Mhm.
I protected myself unexpectedly before I knew I would need it.
Mm.
And so that's why I would like to encourage everybody to take heed to those health nuts. You
Mhm.
know, you don't have to go to the extreme.
Right.
However, those five things, if we could just pay attention to eating well and sleeping well and thinking well, number one. And I'll tell you, in my book, I explain, and I don't know how deeply I will go into it today or even how deeply I went through it in the book. I know that I created that condition with my thoughts.
Mhm.
I know that without a doubt.
Mhm.
And when I released it, is where I got the confidence that, okay, it's gone. The
Mhm.
past is gone, it's all gone. And now I'm going on with the rest of my amazing life.
Beautiful. Yes. Yeah, and that's it. It's like it's that mindset, your mind. I mean, the mind and the feeling, right? That's the two things.
Yes,
That's the key. That's
that's the key. That's the emotion. And people don't understand that. Oh, they say, I am doing these positive affirmations and they're not working because your subconscious is saying, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And the emotion is not there. And it's really the emotion that creates the reality.
Mhm.
And even then, we have choices. Even then, we still can take control. And I love that. I love that we're not helpless victims, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was a programming that's taught to us, and even with this whole like healthy lifestyle too. I met people like, yeah, just yeah, like you, like people who were 103 years old. They ate meat, but the meat was from their own farm, right? The chicken, the cow, they like you really a lot of the people that were older that I had met, they were all farmers because
My
they
grandmother was,
yeah.
yes. And one of the things she said is, don't eat too much. She would always say that. Don't eat too much.
With that song too. I love it. That's grandma for you.
Yeah,
she's,
yeah,
she's gonna use that tone up and down every day.
exactly.
I love that. Yes, that's the other thing. Yeah, people. Oh man, yeah, it's just crazy because like the more you learn about the true ways of how do I want to put this, of longevity,
Mhm,
the
mhm.
more you learn that what we're taught, especially in Western society, is completely wrong. They're always like, finish your plate. You need to
Right.
eat. You need. I don't care what you eat. You need to eat. And it's like no, like as I came into my adulthood, and actually, I think once I started to do my own emotional process and healing, I started to do intermittent fasting. I started to fast once a week to give your body that break that it needs.
Mhm.
Um, but people don't understand like it's not necessarily what you eat, it's how you eat, right? It's not just how you eat, but it's like, well, it is what you eat, but it's like the quality of what you're eating too.
Yeah.
Japan is one of those places that has like a lot of really old people in their
Mhm.
population. But I've lived in Japan. The quality of the food is up there, and in my opinion, it's the highest quality in the world. This is my opinion. Okay,
Oh,
I've
you
been
live
everywhere.
in Japan. Nihonga wa wakarimasu ka?
Oh, okay, Scotchy.
少しわかります。少し話します。はい。
Oh my
Um,
god. Wait, have you been to Japan? So you know
no,
Japanese.
I haven't yet, but I intend to. I'm learning. I'm self-taught. I'm going to pull this shade down if that's
Yeah, yeah, go
okay.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. That's
Okay.
amazing. Yeah, your Japanese is really good. Oh my God. So you absolutely need to go to Japan. And before you do, definitely hit me up because yeah, I've lived there for 4.5 years, worked there for 2 years. So I love Japan. I love Japan. It's a really just amazing, amazing country that is full of depth. And it's the depth is like in their DNA. I don't know how else to explain it, but it is in their DNA. The details for everything that they do, the attention they give for everything that they do, it's unmatched. It is unmatched. So
Now
definitely.
you got me really excited about it. And they have my absolute favorite tree of all time, the cherry blossom tree.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we have to go in April then. Yes.
So how
Yeah.
long were you there?
I was there, yeah, so 4.5 years. So I grew up there from like middle school to half of high school, military
Wow.
brat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's less now, but when I was there, there was a lot of military bases all over Japan. Because during World War II, America, which I don't know how they got away with this, but America signed the contract, and I guess Japan also signed a contract saying, okay, we won't have an army anymore, only a defense army or military. So
Right.
America became their attack military, which I'm like, I don't know how they did this, but anyway. Um,
We can get into that.
right, right, right. Yeah, this is another topic. It's another topic.
Right.
But anyway, so there's a lot of military bases there. So there's a lot of people who actually have lived in Japan, who are from the military brats. And then when I was in college, my parents moved back, so I went to go work there, for like 2 years, I think.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, if you can, like, be there for a long period of time. That's what I tell everybody, because it's like, yeah, it's just like I said, or at least if you go there, meet the people, and you know Japanese, so you're gonna be able to communicate with the locals, because it's
Mhm.
like you want to get a taste of the true culture, and you can't really do that unless you either know the language or you're there for a long period of time. So you got one of the two. So you definitely definitely need to check it out. Yeah,
Okay.
love Japan. And again, the quality, it's like, yeah. So I mean, we'll talk briefly about it, but then we're gonna get back to your book.
Okay.
I know you're curious, but so for example, I think the tuna, they have like wild farms tuna, so it's farmed in Australia. But what Australia does is they get the highest quality and they send it to Japan, and then Japan sells it at their 7-Elevens. So like this is what I'm saying. Like it's that's what I'm saying. Like it's like the quality is really crazy. So really amazing. They really know how to take care of themselves, take care of their bodies. They have small meals. Definitely, that's the other thing I noticed when I moved back to the States. Our meals are huge. And in Japan, they know how to give you just enough and not too much. But food is a huge aspect of this. So okay, so let's get back to, so we know that you are a healthy eater. Your digestive system looked like it was 20 years old, and that's amazing. Like, girl, like, I'm taking notes because this is my plan. um but so you had that aspect, but so there was something going on mentally, and I know in the book you talk
Yes.
about this in the book, what exactly that was. Um but I want to talk about the power of the mind.
Yes.
So, because this is, I don't want to say it's a common occurrence, but it happens to a lot of people where, they're like, I eat healthy, I do this and this, but nothing's changing. So what is it that they need to change about themselves, to really make that change in their lives?
Well, first of all, they need to honor their instincts. By that, I mean, you know when something doesn't feel right. You know when you're having a conversation or if a certain name was mentioned and you get that feeling, that very uncomfortable feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? It's something going on in your head, in your thoughts, and your emotions that has connected,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's one of the things that I think that's the most important of all, is to recognize, because even though I was teaching this lifestyle, I knew that in my own personal life, there was something that I did not release. There was something that I did not let go of.
Mm-hmm.
If it could be anger, it could be fear, it could be guilt, it could, any one of those negative emotions can take hold of you and you can live within that vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and you can cover it up with everything else, you know. Oh, you can eat well, you can exercise, you better deal with whatever it is that is hurting your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that, you can release it.
Get started on your wellness journey today. Whether you are starting your wellness journey, in the middle of it, or finishing it, this library will help you so much on how to jumpstart your wellness. And really, it has so much more than that. It has full guides on how to quantum leap, full guides on how to manifest, and even my personal favorite, coloring books. Yes, and I'm talking unique coloring books. Y'all already know who you're dealing with, okay? We have baobab coloring books, cactus plant coloring books, and so much more. And it's completely free. So please make sure to check it out, especially if you're on your wellness journey, or if you know a friend who is on the wellness journey and wants some free resources, please let them know about the wellness library, okay? The link is in the show notes below. I love y'all so much. Let's get back to the show.
In my book, I mentioned Dr. Faye Hargrove, I believe her name is, yes. And that was the beginning of, and I met her, several months before I had the diagnosis. Now, mind you, I thought I was healthy and I love exercise and I'm a yogi. So I would go to yoga every day, 7 days a week.
Mhm.
I would go to Pure Bar. I don't know if you're familiar with Pure Bar.
Mhm.
Pure Bar is an exercise system where it's extremely intense with very low and most of the time no impact.
Mhm.
However, you are working your muscles to exhaustion,
Mm.
isolating the muscles.
Mhm.
So, for instance, you're at the bar and you may be lifting your leg and you would hold it up and hold it up and keep it up and extend it and keep it up and extend it and on and on and on. They talk you through this music playing and all.
Mhm.
However, that's how intense it was. And I had gotten to the point right before I was diagnosed, I had gotten to the point where I would walk up the stairs coming home from a class, and I would feel like I walked up 5 flights of stairs. My muscles were just that tiredness in my muscles, and I was out of breath. And the thing is that, well, all of that, I don't want to tell the whole story, but
Yeah.
because that's what happened, that's how I knew something was wrong.
Mm.
That's how I knew something was wrong. Other than that, I just kept on going. Now, here I am, and this was in the middle of COVID. I didn't use a mask. I had no immunity. I didn't know that I didn't have immunity,
Mhm.
but that's what happened. And my blood, usually when they have someone who comes in with acute myeloid leukemia, they have about 35% of their blood is cancerous, leukemic,
Oh my God. Right.
35%, right?
People, so, yeah.
When I entered that hospital, I had 87% of my blood
Oh my God.
leukemic. That's why they didn't expect me to survive. That's one reason they didn't expect me to survive. And
Mhm.
the other reason was that I was 73 at the time. And they when they treat someone who has, when they give chemotherapy, it's usually for someone with that kind of blood,
Mhm.
it's really strong chemotherapy that they don't like to give anybody older than 55 years old. So here I was 73 at the time.
Mhm.
And however, they gave me the option, you can either do this, which is considered curative,
Mhm.
or you can continue, just take mild doses and maybe live 2 years. Now, to me, that wasn't an option. It was like,
Absolutely not.
no, I'm taking the strong stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And because my organs were so young, because the organs had to handle all of that,
Yeah.
all of the harsh chemotherapy, all of that inflammation just bombarded. Now, the cancer itself gives you all that inflammation. And then you've got inflammation from, from your surroundings and everything else. And inflammation is at the basis of every disease known to
Mhm.
man. So if it were not for my lifestyle that unexpectedly prepared me for it by having strong, healthy organs to handle, so the kidneys, particularly the liver, it has to filter out, and the kidneys have to filter out all of this poison. And by the way, when I was taking the chemotherapy, I did not consider for a minute the side effects. I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking about side effects
Yeah.
because if I focused on what it could be doing to me,
Mhm.
I could not focus on what it was doing for me.
Mm.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
Right? So I said, you know what? My body knows what to do with it. we're going to do this, we're going to handle this.
Oh, that's right.
And that, and that's what happened. That's how it went.
Okay. I love the focus, the attention, right? This is one thing that I talk a lot about on my channel and with my clients. Attention,
Mhm.
intention. It's like the two biggest things.
Mhm.
Um, your decision to give your attention to the benefits and completely ignore the side effects, I think really helped your body align with that attention, right?
Exactly.
This is the key.
Exactly.
Um, if you focus on both, you're gonna get both. If you focus on one, well, I mean, you're gonna get the one, right? So I think that's really beautiful. How did you was this on purpose? Do you think it was more of a how do I want to say were you following your intuition? Like, how did this decision come about to let me
Mhm.
focus my attention on the benefits?
It was instinctive.
Okay. Okay.
It's so funny. That's why I say when I look back, I can almost get emotional now about it. At the time, it was like, hey, okay, so this is what it is. All right, we're going to take care of this. And my mind was just totally so positively focused on the fact that I'm not going anywhere. I got a long life to live. So whatever this is about, let's get it done and get it over with.
Mhm.
And I make it sound simple and almost trivialize it, but it was a deep situation.
Mm,
It's just that my mindset, my thinking was already there. And I give thanks for that.
mhm,
I really do. It was in a place of gratitude. And it's funny, when you create, I know a lot of us have the practice of choosing a word of the year in January
mhm,
instead of, I'm going to change this and I'm going to change that. I just choose one word.
mhm,
2 years ago, little did I know. So this was in January. In March, I had the diagnosis. In
mhm.
January, I chose the word ease. Ease was my word.
Wow.
I get chills thinking about it. I didn't know what I was going to go through. I had no idea. And I went through this entire process ease, with ease.
Mhm,
When my family would call me, of course, my family nearly just fell apart, just the
yeah.
idea, because they know how serious my lawyer, that's a death sentence,
Mhm,
okay, for most people,
mhm,
and certainly for elderly.
mhm,
It's a death sentence, okay? And so it was very difficult for them. However, one of my daughters, I have four daughters, between us, we have seven. It was a marriage of
mhm,
two families. And my daughter finally said, Ma, you don't have to be positive all the time, because I was always smiling and feeling it was really sincere. And she knows now.
mhm,
Uh, and she didn't think I was putting it on, but she thought that I was thinking about the family and wanting not to
mm.
make them feel uncomfortable. No, I was enjoying. You know what? I was on vacation. That's what I told myself in the hospital.
Okay.
I got my food
That, yeah.
prepared, my bed's being made every day.
I love it. Yes.
And,
Yes.
and that's how I thought of it. I was in a
Mhm,
private room, and even though I had the television, I never even turned it on because I had my computer and I had my favorite music.
mhm,
And I knit. I love knitting. So I had time to knit. I had time to write my book. I started my book. And when I was feeling well enough, because there were days, when that chemotherapy kicked in, and I actually was throwing up, and I had locks of hair that I could sit on.
oh, wow.
Yeah, and then my locks were falling out. And then one day my husband came to cut off the rest of them because it was getting ridiculous, big plot hair. And he came in with his head bald.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
Yes.
Tearing up. Oh my God.
Yes, he shaved all of his hair off. I get teary when I think about it too.
Me too. I'm like,
Yeah, like we're gonna do this together, babe. We got this. We got this.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So the positivity was for me. It was organic. It was just the way I was thinking at the time. And I truly believe that the word of the year had a difference because the word of the year was ease. And people, the doctors couldn't believe what was going on. I couldn't believe, they couldn't believe what was going on. And everybody that I spoke to were just so surprised that I was so calm and excited about going through the process and coming out on the other side.
Mhm. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I had started talking about Dr. Hargrove Faye.
Yes. Yeah.
This sister, she did something. We were at an event, a convention, part of, well, not a convention. Yeah, it was a convention. However, the Wakanda folks of the convention got together to meet, and she was invited as the guest speaker. And she gave us a sequence. She says, I'm not your kind of psychologist who will have you sit down and drudge up all that you're going through and feel those emotions again. And you feel worse when you left than you did when you came. She gave us a process of eliminating the negativity in our lives. And it was amazing. She took us back. She had you go back in your timeline. She put on music, had you close your eyes. You go back in your timeline to before, to the very first time that you felt anger. And she took us with each one of those issues: anger, guilt, sadness. So you go back, and she says, the first thing that comes to your mind, the first answer that comes to your mind is the right answer. So I'm going to ask you a question, and you make the decision right on the spot. And the question was, when is the first time that you felt angry? The very first time. It might have been before you were born. It might have been during your birth. It might have been any time after. It might have been 3 months old. So the question was, when was it? And then you would answer, okay, I was 8 months old. Okay, you might not even have remembered it, but your subconscious knows it.
Yeah.
Right? And her practice takes you through that so that, to make a longer story short, you put it in a balloon, whatever color balloon that you want, and you send that balloon far, far away. And as the balloon travels, she's talking to you and she's saying, now, when I clap my hands, that balloon is going to burst. And it's so far away, you can hardly see it, but you can hear that it burst. Okay, and then she says, okay, now travel back in your mind to today. And then we had a conversation and we talked about it. And she said, now go back to 15 minutes before that incident occurred. So she takes you back and you go back mentally 15 minutes before, and it didn't not happen. You didn't erase it from your life. The emotional connection to it is what was deleted. It's just like if you have a document in a folder on your computer, and instead of opening up the document and then trying to correct it, no, You close the document, not only do you delete the document, you delete the whole folder.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's deleted. And yes, I can go back to what occurred in my life that had me emotionally stuck, twisted up like a knot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was covering over it and pretending that it didn't exist. And that's what opened me up to receive the vibrational connection to
Mm-hmm.
cancer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was the beginning of it,
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of the healing process, what she did, of bringing it out. And then 2 months later, I'm in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. So sorry, so pause real quick. So you
Mhm.
saw her 2 months before.
Right, that was, well, actually three. It was,
You said January, I think. January.
right, it was January, February. Actually, it was in February. No, I don't remember what month it was, but I know 2 months late after I was thinking about the word of the year. I had chosen ease for the year, and that was in January. And in March is when I had the diagnosis of 22. Right.
And then you saw her when?
I saw her. It was, oh, actually, it had to have been more April. No, couldn't have been April. Because so what I'm thinking is I was at an event that I know was in February,
Mm-hmm.
and and before our big conferences, there's always an event like that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, and so that's, sorry, I don't have the exact dates
Oh,
for that. For some reason it's not coming to me.
no, don't worry about it. No, because I ask because it sounds like this whole this book that you went through.
Mhm.
It was a process of transformation, of I would even say evolution. Now I don't know what, the evolved version of you, I mean, is here with me now. I don't know the context of that, but you went through a rebirth. Because one thing that I learned when I was studying meditation in Thailand was the monks there, they shave off all of their hair every 2 weeks. And they say that the hair can really carry a lot of like just emotions, like all of it, all of the past. It's carried in your hair. And so it's really cool. Like, no, I don't say cool, but it's
Yeah.
really symbolic that you were able to have this opportunity to evolve yourself. That's how I would put it.
Mhm.
um and evolve yourself with ease, although I'm sure there were still moments. I'm sure there were still moments, you know.
Let me tell you, I can't even get over it myself. I mean, I'm impressed myself that it was definitely even the days where I couldn't stand to look at food,
Mm.
um, where water tasted like sewer metal, and they would bring me food and I didn't want to eat it. That only lasted a few days at a time. And I was in the hospital. I was on one floor in the room in the hospital for well over a year.
Oof.
Could not get outside in the sun.
Mhm.
Couldn't feel the breeze on my skin. Imagine for a whole year. I had the chemotherapy in the pole, and I would plug my ears in, some music, and go dancing down the hallway. And
Mhm.
then, and it was so funny. I even put in the book as I saw nurses and doctors and other people noticing me dancing down the hallway. I said to myself, I guess they're saying, "You wait till that chemo kicks in. We'll see if she's still dancing."
Oh my God.
That thought came to me, and I laughed about it.
Good. I'm
Um,
glad you proved them wrong too.
No, they didn't say that. That was my thought. My thought of
Oh,
them.
okay.
I said, I bet you they're saying, just wait until that chemo kicks in.
Mhm,
But they were just amazing. They were amazing. I had an amazing doctor,
mhm,
and the whole staff. Everything fell into place. Everything fell into place. And it's interesting that you mentioned about the hair, because as I was leaving all of that, my hair was falling out and I
mm,
was bald.
mhm.
This farm isn't just any farm. It grows for Juice Plus. Juice Plus is farm to capsule nutrition made from 30 different non GMO fruits, vegetables, and berries. Harvested at peak goodness to make nutrient rich plant powders in convenient capsules. Clinically proven for over 20 years to support your wellness. It makes it easy to help bridge the gap between what you should eat and do eat. Fruits and vegetables are always on the table with Juice Plus. Juice Plus. Goodness is our natural state.
Became bald. Yeah,
You became a monk. That's sorry.
exactly.
But low key. Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm like, I never know, like,
Kind of,
I get
sort
these
of.
jokes sometimes and I'm like, oh, I don't really know. But no, but you did. You achieved I would say the next version of yourself. I mean, from what I'm hearing, and it's just it's powerful because in moments like that you got two options. You choose to allow those moments, those experiences to evolve you, or you don't. That's really the two options. um and so to me it's just very powerful to hear stories like yours, to really empower us to know that it is possible to overcome. It is
Yeah,
possible. But it's going to take that intention and attention, okay? It's going to take that mindset, that feeling. It's going to take us dancing through the hallways, not caring who's watching, to really get that vibration up so we can know that, hey, we have the ability to overcome the impossible. We
right.
have that ability. And so I really want to say thank you, thank you, Dr. Nalani. I really appreciate you being here on the podcast and being on
Thank
the show,
you.
and sharing your story, that more and more people are going to hear as time goes on, because this is a really powerful story. We need to hear more stories like this. Um, so for every show that I have, every guest that I have, I ask them one question: how do you see yourself expanding from here? And I mean, you've already expanded, but if it was possible to expand again, what would that look like for you?
Everything is possible, and I'm more excited now than I was a few years ago. Well, the
Mhm.
little girl, it may be 75 years young, but still, it's still the little girl. And I'm looking forward to, with my husband, we have some philanthropic ideas, not ideas, plans.
Mhm.
Really. There are some major changes we intend to help bring about before we make our transition. So I'm
Mhm.
excited about that. I'm very excited about my book and about the fact that I am feeling good. It
Mhm.
feels good to feel good, I'll
Mhm.
tell you. Because after that, I didn't mention that because of the chemotherapy, it demineralized the head of the femur of both of my hips.
Okay.
So I had a hip replacement. I had a right hip replacement first, about 6 months ago. And then about 3 months ago, I had my left hip replaced.
Mm.
And there was a lot of pain involved. And however, now I'm on the other side of it and I'm feeling good. So what I see for myself is fun. What I see for myself is, my word for this year is thankful. And I'm telling you, every single day it keeps showing up in my life, how much more thankful. And I have this saying that I've been saying now for about a decade. You know how people say, oh goodness, this awful thing happened,
Mhm.
what else is going to happen? And right? And they find out. Okay.
Right.
So my saying for the past decade or more has been, how much better can it get? How much better can it get?
I love
How
that.
much better can it get? That's where I am right now. How much better can it get?
Love it. I love it. Yes. Oh my God, I'm gonna write that down and put it on my wall. How much better can it get? I love that. Girl, I wish I had that when I was traveling. But I have it now.
Yeah, I wish I had it before I got myself into
Right.
this situation. Those thoughts that got me where I ended. However, it's here now.
Right, exactly. Yes, we have to be thankful for. I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show. If
You,
it's
I
possible,
really
I would love to
enjoyed
have you
it.
again. That would be like really great. But
Thank you.
yeah, I'm really excited. And again, y'all for listening, or y'all who are listening, this is like the power of the mind. This is the power of the human being right here on this show. Like, please, please, please take note. Like, you guys have this power too. Do not like think, oh, it's just her because she's 70 and she has 20-year-old organs. No, 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 no. You can start getting those organs right now. You don't have to wait. I don't care what age you are. So
That's
please,
right.
please take note. Thank you so much again, Dr. Nalani Valentine, for being on the show. Oh, and before I forget, of course, y'all, she is Dr. Nalani Valentine's very generous. She is giving y'all the first chapter to her book, 7 Steps to Healing and Wellness Using Essential Oils and the my kababillion. Is that has that yeah, okay, cool. I was like, I always like mess up that word, but okay, cool. The kababillion. So that's gonna be in the show notes. You can check her out on Instagram, and all of her links will be in the show notes also. Dr. Nalani, do you have any last words before we get off?
Ah, just know that your life is in your hands. You're not a helpless victim. Your health is in your hands, and every choice you make can make the difference.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. That's like y'all know it. Know your power. Okay. Y'all know this. Okay. I love y'all so much. We will see y'all. Well, I will see you next week. Peace.
Thank you. I really enjoyed you being here with you. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.